Hello there and welcome to my review of Croydon, a UK transport simulator on the Roblox platform. The main purpose of this game's development was to show how the current Roblox bus scene has been lacking in innovation and in major need of improvement in terms of quality, particularly in the London scene. How does it live up to this purpose, and does it contain the innovation needed to influence a change in how the Roblox bus community makes its games? Let's find out.
This is a bucket.
Dear God.
There's more.
No.
The models found in this game are some of the best in the community, coming from some of the community's most experienced modelers. For the most part, the shaping on the models is pretty accurate and depicts how the buses are in real life decently for Roblox standards. All the buses have been modelled in Blender, allowing for more accurate shaping and further optimisation which standard Roblox tools cannot offer. I'm going to give Croydon's vehicle quality 9 out of 10, as while the models overall are pretty decent, there are some things I think they lack, but it should be noted this is mainly just nitpicking at this point. Some of the faces on models are missing, mainly underneath the bus. Visual weathering and dirt build-up might be an interesting feature depending on how much a player has used a particular bus. The headlights on the buses feel way too bright. It's the same thing with the interior lights, but not as severe.
Dispenser going up.
There are a large variety of vehicles that can be found and driven on Croydon, especially when factoring the company's feature with the various liveries and extra buses that can be found. The best thing is that this game doesn't sacrifice the quality of its vehicles despite the large variety. The only reason I'm not going to give it full marks for this section is solely due to the lack of variety outside the main focus of buses. There are only 2 trams available alongside 1 taxi. This will likely change in the future, but at least the trams are great models and are something to save up for and look forward to driving when you get the points needed to buy them. I'm going to give Croydon an 8.5 out of 10 for its vehicle quantity, as there isn't much outside the realm of buses and it still feels like there could be more added, but at the end of the day, this is the early days of the game and I expect this score will likely change rather quickly.
Let's dance, lads!
Sounds are one of the major features of Croydon and it stands out as a unique part of this game, even if it is a little buggy at times, but that's likely due to the limitations of the platform, to be honest. It features what is probably the most realistic sounding vehicles to ever come out of the UK bus community, alongside ambient sounds, which change throughout the day to give a decent feeling of immersion to players despite it still looking like a Roblox game. There are a few small improvements I'd make, but it is a massive improvement when compared to the offerings of other games within the community. It is clear a large amount of effort was put into this system to offer what it does, even if a similar system has been offered in other communities for a while, so I don't feel any guilt at all in giving this section a 10 out of 10. But then again, it's only fitting to move on to the best rated section of this review, to the worst. The user interface is something I love to focus on because, for me, a great UI is integral to a game's success as it offers players a decent first impression and experience overall. Sadly, Croydon fails to achieve such a thing. The loading screen is a nice addition and gives a bit of entertainment as you load in, but I can't help but notice the blurry sprites against the crisp background, a theme that can also be commonly applied with the various icons found all around the place on UI. However, the home screen is quite inviting, giving a large amount of space for buttons without feeling too cluttered. Plus, the colour scheme is consistent for the most part, and the transitions allow for a nice and calm experience before you start properly playing. I do think the settings UI could do with a bit of a redesign, maybe with the text aligned to the left so it feels less messy, but I do like having all the settings for a game just available to me without feeling like I'm having to drag my feet up some stairs and back down again like on SER's menu. It might be nice to be able to customise the keybinds as well, so people can change the controls to something they're more used to. The Spawn UI seems like a good concept in terms of design. My main complaint is that the play button isn't aligned with the bus selection, but otherwise it suits its purpose well. The driving UI, however, is an interesting one. It offers a wide range of features, but really needs an overhaul. Here are some of the things that stuck out to me. The minimap feels rushed and doesn't give a very accurate representation of your position on the map, alongside other buses. This is mainly because the navigation icon is often misaligned with the actual road. It might be an idea to move to a system similar to the one found on the game Streamlined and maybe some other games, where a viewport frame pretty much displays parts with a specific set of properties and the names of places are manually placed on, and you can drag it around alongside zooming in and out with the mouse. I do like the fact that the buses' liveries and route numbers are placed on, but the low resolution kinda cancels the benefits of having it. It would also make sense to have a local player marker on the map as well. A few of the icons don't match up with the style of the others, most notably the kneeling button, which just looks like it was made in a few seconds by a 5-year-old on Microsoft Paint. The left cluster could have really done with being put on top of a background of some sorts. It feels disorganised despite the fact that the icons are actually aligned pretty well. Due to the constant hit and misses with this UI, I'll be giving it a 6 out of 10. Let alone due to the fact that it's been made clear to me how rushed this is as random windows start popping up for some reason as the menu appears. And no, I'm not the only one to experience this problem. But, as this is my favourite section to do, I thought I'd put in the effort to make some sort of concept trying to address some of my ideas instead of just blabbering some words into a microphone.
Thanks, soldier.
But of course.
For a game which offers some rather detailed scenery and buses, and the actual density found in real cities, Croydon runs pretty well considering. There does seem to be the odd lag spike alongside general performance degradation the longer you play on high graphics settings. Basically, as more of the map is loaded and installed on your local computer, an issue which can generally be fixed by just lowering your graphics settings most of the time. Most players on a PC similar to mine should be able to cope with the current state of the map on high graphics. I'm therefore going to score Croydon a fairly decent 8 out of 10 for its optimisation. Croydon offers a pretty consistent level and quality of scenery throughout its map, which itself is pretty high quality compared to the offerings of other games. There's small details to be found around the map to keep you interested and looking around for something new every time you join, alongside the fact that the shop textures change each player locally for each time they join. The main thing that sets the scenery back is the random gaps in the map. It's a shame as the map in general looks great and the performance doesn't suffer for it in most instances. I've decided to give Croydon a score of 8.5 out of 10 for its scenery as, for the most part, it's decent but a few issues need to be put right. Physics has always been an interesting part of Roblox games, as it's common to feel like things accelerate way too quickly or go way too fast, or even the opposite of this. Croydon has managed to avoid this trap for the most part, offering a realistic feeling of acceleration for its vehicles, despite having to cope with the downside of having a bus based upon the ACE chassis system, which is quite outdated and struggles with hills where more realistic values are used for power. This does cause some issues with some of the buses, primarily the coach, which can struggle to get up steeper surfaces, but this has been mitigated in recent updates. Due to the realism of the game with physics, despite the downfalls of the systems used, I've decided to score Croydon's physics an 8 out of 10. It does great with what it's got, something which really does come to show in the next section of this review: features.
Hey, look, buddy. I'm an engineer. That means I solve problems. Not problems like what is beauty, because that would fall within the purview of your conundrums of philosophy. I solve practical problems.
The features of a game is one of the most important things when it comes to giving it that unique flair that makes it stand out from the rest, and it's another thing Croydon excels at doing. Even if it does require a bit of work, the company's feature on Croydon allows for a much higher diversity and therefore choice of routes and liveries on the game, alongside giving groups a chance to technically operate on a game, with more and much better buses than they'd potentially be able to get running on their own games. The game also features an NPC passenger system, which uses pathfinding to board a player's bus. You gain points, the game's currency, used to buy vehicles and other stuff, by giving these passengers the correct ticket, a feature which makes the game more engaging for the player. While this feature isn't unique to the game, it is nice to see that more games are adopting it finally. There are also other small features which assist with the immersive playability of this game, such as the weather like snow and rain with added wipers, or the ability to terminate routes at certain points instead of having to finish the whole thing to gain any sort of bonus. This leads me to give Croydon a 10 out of 10 for features, as while they aren't the most polished things in the world, they offer an experience no other bus game can exactly compete with at the moment.
Damn. It's beautiful. Hey, boys!
Yeah.
I built that.
This is something I referenced quite a bit in the last section, but I would like to build on the playability as there is more to be discussed. The game offers a wide variety of features which are a major factor in the game's success, and the ability to drive your own custom routes in a bus in the game like this is an amazing thing to have. But the game suffers due to this large feature count in terms of bugs and how they affect the gameplay. The focus on the development of these features has meant the other parts of the game have been neglected, such as the UI and scripting in general. The effect of this downgraded an otherwise decent experience to a 7 out of 10 for me, which is okay, but it still needs improvement. At the end of the day, credit where credit is due. This game has been in development for a long time and shows what the community can do if an extra slice of effort is put in, alongside a bit more experience with modelling, programming and Roblox Studio in general, so you actually know what you're doing. I appreciate how the lighting in this game is done, and the ambient sounds are definitely a missing feature in most major bus games, let alone ones that change with the actual in-game time. There's definitely work to be done, but it's a good step forward for the UK Roblox bus community, so I'm going to give it an extra 9 points out of 10 to the score for this game. I'll be honest, Croydon feels like a game on the edge between a beta and a full release, while still managing to give a decent wake-up call to a majority of the other games in the community. It's not really there, but it's close enough. While I don't agree how the game went with being tested in public, I realise there probably wasn't a better option due to how the previous tester programs have turned out in Centro, let alone other parts of the community. There are still lots of bugs still to be ironed out, which I hope gets worked on over time and isn't neglected in the pursuit of new features. The game should mature given time and attention and embed itself as the symbol of technological progress in the community, which has been in dire need of such things for a while. I look forward to seeing how this game progresses in the future.
Kick it like this.